Welcome to this week's Time with Hime student edition of the podcast. We got 6 lovely young ladies here from all 3 high schools, Lawton High, Eisenhower High, and MacArthur High School. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask questions, and when they answer the first one, they're going to introduce themselves just so we get going. First of all, thank you guys for joining us. You know, one thing from my side as the superintendent, I talk about this a lot, we want to make school more engaging. And it gets real simple because it's easy for me to figure out what engages a 50-plus-year-old man that's almost 60, but that's not what engages your generation. So if you were in charge, in my chair, what would you do to engage the students at Lawton Public Schools?
My name is Eliza Vargas. I go to Lawton High School. I think one way to engage more students within Lawton Public Schools is to implement more programs that include all 3 high schools together. So we're not just each 3, we have Eisenhower, we have Lawton High, we have MacArthur, but instead we're one united front and we're all on the same page.
Awesome, like we're doing here with our leadership team.
Correct.
I'm really excited about that because I've never been in a multi-high school. So when I took the job here 3 years ago when the pandemic started, it was new to me to 3, and how can we be separate? Because, we love our schools. We don't want to quit being Highlanders and Eagles and Wolverines, but how do we do that and still become one? So I love your answer.
Thank you.
I'd say something else we could do that'll maybe have us engage a little more for like our sports. Instead of having the students paying, maybe we could bring our IDs and get in there for free or a little discount instead of paying the full price like everyone else. I think that'll help engage more for like our athletics and get people more encouraged to come.
I like that idea. We have actually talked about that a little bit. How can we make that work where it's an honor system because you don't let everybody in free, but if you've been at school, had good attendance, keeping your grades up, and your discipline problems, you don't have any discipline referrals, then maybe you get to come in free. I really like that idea. Anybody else? Come on, we got to have everybody on this.
My name is Haley Clay, and I think, like bouncing off of what Eliza said, with doing that with the 3 high schools, we could also do something to integrate the high schools and the middle schools and the elementary schools all together instead of just trying to find a way for like the high schools to be connected, finding a way to connect with the younger kids, especially for high schoolers, because I know that's something that the elementary school kids are looking up to us.
Yeah, and interesting, your generation, because you guys are already in high school, but now that we have the Life Ready Center, which does a little bit of what y'all are talking about, I don't know if y'all attend where you get that opportunity to take classes with students from the other high school. Also, now we only have 3 middle schools, and each middle school is basically right next door to the high school. So hopefully we get a little bit more of that. I love that answer.
My name's Emma Eschler, and I'm from Eisenhower. And going along with what Haley said, I know like with Palm, we've had a low participation, like not many people trying out. So I think getting like high school involved with middle schoolers and maybe introducing them to things that they can get involved in high school would be really important.
Okay. Who hasn't answered yet? No pressure.
My name's Brooke Strickland. I go to Eisenhower, but kind of like what Emma said is like we have freshman orientation and like you tell them about stuff, but they don't really listen. Like they don't want to be there. So if you can get them while they're still in middle school, they might listen more and like be excited for it. Because whenever they're there on their first day of high school, they don't really care. They're just trying to survive the day. So if we get them excited before they come, I think it would encourage them to join things.
Hi, I'm Maddie Hunt from MacArthur, and I think one of the things that we could do is teach students just to be proud of like where they come from, so like be Lawton proud, and so because we all share Lawton, we all live in Lawton, and so I think if we just created an environment where we're just proud of Lawton and we're excited to be here, I think they would be excited to go to school.
From my seat, I see that some, and it's kind of a difficult because some of our names are a little bit long, and like people say, I'm MacArthur. We were at an event and I had somebody introduce himself and they said, I'm from MacArthur High School, instead of saying I'm from Lawton MacArthur High School. Well, Lawton MacArthur or Lawton Eisenhower are fairly long. So that is something I agree with you that would be great if we understood we are Lawton kind of first, but our individual schools still matter. We never want to take away that autonomy and identity of our individual schools. So if I'm hearing you, more collaboration amongst the 3 schools, but also more vertical alignment of understanding the elementary students, understanding they are Lawton High School or they are going to grow up to be Highlanders or they're growing up to be Eagles, so we can work down a little bit with collaboration with our younger generation. I really like that idea. So when you look at leadership, your leader's here for a reason. So do you see yourself as the leader? But on the other side of it, what characteristics do you think good leaders have? You guys hung up with the microphone.
Okay, I don't think I introduced myself yet. I'm Tajana Martinborough from MacArthur, and I do see myself as a leader. I feel like I have good attributes of being a leader. I feel like a leader should be able to listen as well as lead their team and lead their school and lead their city. And I feel like I can listen well and I can hear other points of view. So I feel like that attribute makes me a good leader.
I feel like you kind of grow into your leadership position. So maybe you feel like you start not so much as a leader, but when you learn to adapt and when you learn to listen, like Tajana just said, that's what really makes you a leader. Because not only do you know how to direct the people, but you also know when to fall back and let them learn to lead on their own.
Something I've learned that's important for a leader to have is to know how to deal with criticism, and that's something I've learned this year being in a high position of leadership at Eisenhower and being able to know that you're not going to please everyone, but do what you think is best for whatever situation you're in.
And that one doesn't get any easier when you get in your 50s.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Thanks a lot.
I think a characteristic of being a good leader is, as you said, being able to listen, but also knowing when to take charge and knowing when things are not going well and you need to stop the team and maybe take a break, and then we can come back and figure something out. Just knowing when to take a big lead and be like, okay, let's calm down, let's start over, and going from there.
That's a great answer, because when we talk about it, and you're all talking about it, communication is one of the top skills they find that successful leaders have. And what you're saying basically is know when to talk and know when to listen. And one of you said listen, and one of you talked about how to share with your others and motivate them or make them understand. Anybody else? So what, with the leadership class you're in, and you're together, what do you see it teaching you, and what are you learning from getting to unite and be together and work as because my goal is we work as a district, and I learned some things that we can do different as a district to make school or Lawton Public Schools more engaging and more effective for you as students. So what have you learned so far in your classes that you would like to share with us about being a leader? Or
So with my leadership positions, I've learned just to be a consistent student, just one of those people that are always there, to help the teachers, help the sponsors, help the kids that are in the club. It's just always be someone there to be people can fall back on if they need help with something.
Very good.
I've learned that when there is a common problem, there's not just one solution to it. You can take a step back, you can reevaluate, you can ask others for help, but there's always another way to go about something and to go about how to solve that.
Awesome. And that's what they would like for you to learn from this, because usually if there's a problem at MacArthur or there's something going on there that you guys want to make better, it's probably the same problem at Eisenhower or Lawton High as well. So when you get friends that you can text back and forth with as leaders, say, hey, this is going on. Have y'all had this happen? Same in my business. I text other superintendents all the time and ask for how they handle certain situations.
I think with the leadership, you learn how you need to communicate with your peers and even the adult that's helping you. You need to communicate to solve the problems you have, and I think that has taught me to learn to communicate with my teachers as well, because if I'm struggling and I don't know what's going on, I have the voice to communicate with my teacher to try to solve the problem. And before I was more in a leadership role, I didn't know that and I didn't take advantage of that, so I now communicate better with even my teachers.
Anyone else?
I feel also just being willing, my leadership position, this is kind of new to me still, just because it's an organization for all of us. I've never been really a part of that. And I feel just this year is only beginning, and I feel I've been doing a great job being willing to help, being willing to listen, being willing to learn, and just be there for my team as well.
And I will tell y'all, I have a saying, and I know y'all listen to all my podcasts, so you've heard these, but I have a saying, you don't have to be bad to get better. And communication as a leader is one of those things. You're just always going to be striving to get better. And you just always got to remember, I don't have to be bad to get better. Last question. What do you want the people of our community, Lawton, to know about Lawton Public Schools before we end the podcast? What's one great thing that you'd love for people to know?
One great thing I would think our community should know is that Chick-fil-A, we're getting help from Chick-fil-A. We're being willing and taking action to find new ways to improve our public schools and our community as a whole. And I feel like we're going to do that this year.
Oh, awesome. Anybody else? Got to have something.
That you guys are listening to us, like even just sitting here, like you asking us questions, you care what we think, and that you want to get better. Like you said, everything can always get better, so that you care about that.
And listening to y'all is important because that's the struggle we all have. Because you aspire to be a leader, you get to a certain level and you think, okay, but you guys are the ones that the school's about. It's not about me. It's your school. My job is just to try to create those resources for you. So I really appreciate the fact you guys are willing to come talk to me.
We're all also definitely trying, like Tajana said, we're willing to be here and we're all coming together to try and solve anything that needs to be solved. So I think we're here, we're showing up, and we're trying to be our best selves.
I also agree with that. And I also wanted to say, like, Lawton Public Schools, there's so much good going on that I feel like doesn't get shown a lot, and everybody just always talks about the bad stuff that's happening, but there's really a lot of good stuff going on at all the schools.
Isn't that a 2022 thing? Sometimes we forget. I mean, we've got free college, we've got the AP classes, we've got the other extracurricular, this for leadership where you guys get to come over here and meet, lots of extracurricular activities. Esports, who would have thought 3 years ago when I was superintendent, somebody said, you're going to have an esports team. I'd have said, there's no way I'm ever going to allow us to have esports. And now it's just exploding. We got so much going on, and it's because we got some exceptional students across this district and teachers, and we appreciate y'all. Anybody else?
Just like you said, I think there's just so many opportunities for all types of students. So even if you're not like athletic, if you're not like, oh, I don't want to go out and try out for the basketball team, you can go to art club, you can go do what you find is passionate to you, and Lawton Public Schools offers almost all of that to all their students.
Well, guys, thank you so much. We're going to do this, try to do it once every couple of weeks. When y'all have this over here, once a month, I believe is what's going on. And it excites me, and continue to think that because, again, my job is to create opportunities for you. And what I need to learn to do, because I said you don't have to be bad to get better, and you can continue to get better, is listen to you on what you want those opportunities to look like, not what I think they should look like. So thanks again for joining us. Very excited. Make sure everybody listens. I think this is going to turn out really good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Goodbye. See y'all next month.